Welcome to the real journey of the entrepreneur. The journey of any entrepreneur begins with a decision, then writing down your vision, then the execution of that vision. It is not for the faint of heart. It is for those who understand how powerful your mind is and that you can truly create the life that you deserve. It does require a unique formula that includes belief in yourself, a lot of consistency, connecting with an OG, a lot of tears, missing out on a few events and things, and taking a whole lot of risks that will allow you to see your vision and dream come to pass. This journey of the entrepreneur is from the perspective of a wonderful mother, a business owner, whose goal is to break generational barriers and normalize the process of wealth building and financial wellness through entrepreneurship, all while creating a social and give back along the way. I am sharing this journey with you and invite you to share this process with me. Let's do this together. It's my own, but you have to feel comfortable to own it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? I will always support you.
Thank you.
Well, hey there. Guess what? We are back. We are back for another episode of The Real Journey of Entrepreneurship. I'm so excited to have you join today because I have the opportunity to interview some really courageous souls who are willing to share their process of how they've been in business and are figuring it out through the process. I get to talk to some amazing entrepreneurs who have stepped into space to try to create this dream and live out these dreams that we have. I'm no different. My name is Anita Pierce, and I'm the owner of 11375. We are a business consultancy that serves as business matchmakers for other businesses. And guess what? We try to connect all of our work to social impact, because social impact is not something that we take lightly. It is a part and embedded in the work that we do. So for more information about what we do here at 11375, please do not hesitate to check us out on the social platforms and also on 11375.com. But enough of me. I get to interview someone who is an amazing chef who has been providing premier culinary experiences since 2010. Now, somebody been around in that space, they must can cook really good, really good. And Chef Keesha is no exception to this rule. Has been in business and is the owner and lead chef for the Gourmet Diva. I mean, I love it all. But don't let me sit up here and tell the story. Let me just bring our guests on, because clearly I do not do a great job. I believe that one should tell their own story. So, hello, Chef Keesha.
Hello, Anita. Hello, everybody who's listening to us today. I love the introduction. I was about to say, oh, tell me more. What else do I do?
Apparently a whole lot.
I do. 13. It's funny. I have to keep reminding myself how long I've been in this industry. But right, Gourmet Diva has been is a 13-year-old child, as I, now as a teenager at this point.
Wow.
But yeah, I started pretty much, I was laid off back in 2008. And it was that point where I was in corporate. Before that, I worked in the nonprofit industry. I've done, a lot of things. So when that happened, I was around 30. So I'll say I was an adult at that, point. And I was like, you know what? Let's just try something new. And I always had this entrepreneurial, spirit. So it was kind of that point where you know what? Things are happening. Just do it. So I started off selling rum cakes. And that's where the Gourmet Diva was born. Selling rum cakes, selling, desserts. And through the years, literally, just doing different things, but the real crux of my business is, catering and personal, chef. That's where I said, where I found my voice, found my revenue, stream that worked, with me, and just being able to work with individuals on helping them attain their, health goals, and just providing a great service, for them, either for their parties or for their everyday needs. And I think when you look back and you start, like, I guess I'm a woman of adversity, and that's really where I like to, my life shakes up. So as we just came out the pandemic, changed it up again. I think these moments always cause, for at least for me or others, to kind of sit back and figure out, what am I doing? What do I want to do? I'm just using these, these points to pivot, change, and adjust. So I added on cooking classes virtually, to start off with. And it was for me to really give more of it, like you had said in the beginning, impact, social impact. So it's like, how can I reach more people? So the, people having cooking classes virtually. I'm like, well, is this a phase? Because if I'm going to do something, I needed to, go for the long haul. But it started, picking up, just figuring out the tech behind it, and, moving forward, and, collaborating with others to help them, develop online classes or highlight them, in my classes as well. So more so now my business culinary classes in person and in virtual.
So I wanted to do like a quick follow-up on the you mentioned that you help individuals to create healthy choices. Is that meal prepping that you're doing, or you're teaching them through one of the virtual workshops, like how to prepare healthier meals for themselves?
Sure. Meal prep. I don't really do meal prepping per se, which, I guess, to clarify what meal prep is, when some, like a chef will go to your home, prepare a whole bunch of meals at one time, and, put them in your fridge. More so, it goes to my clients like every day. So like I said, it's like my business has like different layers, to it, and where I want to focus, my time on. So just do a little bit of meal prepping, but I prefer to focus on the classes, like you said, to, teach individuals basically to fend for them, themselves, instead of me cooking, for them.
And so, just going back again as a follow-up, your current business deals specifically with catering. Is there a specific type of catering? Because when I think of catering, for some strange reason, I immediately go to like dinner parties. I'm not even sure why.
I think it's say weddings.
It's like when I think of I think immediately dinner parties. Maybe because that's
right, and that's when I said, when you go through business and you can say, oh, there's so many chefs, you can just pick one and have them do anything, and that's not the truth.
right.
And that's where I think your question really hits on a great point, is that you as a chef, you as a business owner, need to figure out where you want your niche to be. What do you want to be, known for? You can have a catering company that all they do is, weddings. All they can, want to do is cook on movie sets, and you can make a lucrative living in a specific area. And it's for me to figure out, where do I want to spend my time, doing. I love dinner parties, and that's, usually you see me catering is different dinner parties, different women's events, yoga, different yoga retreats, because that aligns with my mission, who I am, and my style of cooking. Now, if you want a low, slow, brisket, I'm not really a girl, but I'll eat it though. But so usually most people, when they reach out to me, is for a healthier, fare, food. I focus on, local, seasonal, but adding that little extra, to it. So it's going to taste good. Don't get me wrong.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And so when you began your business, right? So it's always interesting to hear stories of individuals who transitioned from a corporate environment to then pursue this thing of entrepreneurship. What was your startup cost?
Well, because I mentioned I started off making, the rum cakes. So all I needed was my oven, which I already had, and some, flour. So my startup cost for that, boxes and things of that nature, you can say, what, it was less than, what, $500, a free Weebly site that you had back in the day to put something on. Social media was in its infancy,
Right.
really, at that time. So it really was, word of mouth. at
Mm.
that point to really drive business. But if you look at how to start a business then versus now, it's a whole different, it's easier to, I think, get spread the word, now, but we'll say like $100,000. You talk about registration,
Yeah.
a little bit more pots and, pans to deal with stuff. But as your business grows, it can get more expensive
Mm-hmm.
because you want to upgrade, rebrand, spend some money on some advertising. Um, so you can spend a couple of thousands, and depending how big you want your business to be or how fast you want it to grow, and you can afford to spend more money, hiring staff to do other aspects, of your business, like virtual assistants and social media experts, and those costs can add up quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I think I started when I was in Boston. I'll put that into perspective. I'm a New York native, born and raised in the Bronx. But when
Mm.
I started, I was in Boston, came back to New York. I think from both places, what I love about starting businesses or being in business, there are a lot of resources out there for small businesses. I think you have to take the time to look into it, get
Mhm.
tapped into networks, especially being a woman of color as well. They are looking to help us grow.
And you're so right about that. In terms of the type of resources are available, because I can think back when I started, I didn't have anyone initially holding my hand to say do
Mhm.
this, that,
Right.
and that's part of the work that I engage in now. But I spent a lot of time tapping into the resources that were available and still are not were, but they still are available. It just takes time navigating.
Correct.
That's your cost. If you don't have immediately all the capital or cash reserves available, tap into the free resources. There are tons within New York City and New York State available
Right.
at our disposal. At our
And
disposal.
we need to make a little list, of them to get people, started. And I think it's kind of to know what you're looking for. And depending maybe on your background, sometimes you don't know what to look for. And that might be, a hurdle. I do have a business, background as well. So just knowing what to Google, what to look for, and right, the landscape then and now, there's so much there's a lot more mentorship that is, available for businesses, and you can find people, because not every mentor is going to be meant for you or the time or the stage of your business.
Right.
So you might have to kiss a couple of, froggies to find the one that you like and let it, work. Because you hear people like, oh, I reached out, I didn't hear anything, or you hear the good, the bad, the ugly,
Mhm.
in between. But just keep trying, keep putting yourself out there. Because, like I said, business is not for the faint of heart.
Mm-mm.
But you have. I was speaking to one of my friends the other day. I was like, you have to be quite crazy to go on this, venture. And
There you have it.
right, if you start a business to say, I want to, work less hours, or, I don't want to have a boss, you're gonna be so sorely disappointed. Completely.
Which leads to my next question, right? So, what is really the day in the life of the gourmet diva? Like, what is that? What is your day like, especially when you have an active virtual program, or you are, managing a catering service? Like, what does your day consist of? Let's talk about
Right,
that.
when you do all the things, and then once again, it's like when people ask like what I'm doing, I'm like, yeah, nothing. And you probably like, I don't even know anymore what I'm doing. So a day in a life, well, for me, besides this, I'm also doing like other things as well. So right, to put life in perspective, like is what I want my life to look like.
Mm,
I'm also, working on a tech conference as well, and on sponsorship and everything else. And then, right, launching another, brand on top of this as well. So there's a lot of pieces that are moving. And that's for me, knowing how my brain works and just getting all my lives to work together. It comes to a point where I'm lucky where society has finally caught up to me. I'll put it as that. I've been side hustling forever. I'm never doing this what I was hired to do at a job. You do your job, you might pursue other passions, do newsletters here. So that's my creative, side that, kicks in. So when it comes to a point, you can be just open about different projects that you're, working on, and that all is encompassing of me. So then to answer what do I do day to day, it can vary of what I, work on, day to day, looking at what projects are, coming up and where I will take focus, on. So I call myself a Jane of all trades. Do my, do social media, right? I cook, for my clients, and all the things. So one thing that keeps me grounded is my morning cup of coffee. That's when I know when my day. I read my New York Times, do my crossword, do the puzzle, start with my cup of coffee, look at, my to-do list and ebb and flow, through there, and just making sure and kind of clicking off and following up. It's a routine of life to follow up, finding, right, the pipeline. Do you have new clients in the, pipeline? Are you meeting deliverables for your current, clients, as well? So it's staying, and I'm not an organized person. Some people can out organize me. I'm like a little note taker, put sticky notes on it, but my calendar pretty much, guides me. So, right, the day to day can look different. Looking at your business seasonally, looks different. So for most people in the field, we're about to hit our busy season. So if you haven't booked a chef yet, please book them now. Don't wait until the last minute. Summer goes by, quickly. Parties are always, happening. Everybody wants to, get together. So just looking into what is my summer in September start to, look like. And then we'll probably, take the selfie on the beach, like, oh, I'm not working.
Yeah.
This is what my life look like today. But
no, I'm not on the beach yet.
no, you can be on the beach, but I think
I will be.
Right. We were speaking beforehand, like, what does a life in the entrepreneur look like? I can be working outside, and it really goes to, but it comes to a point, did I put that work in, i.e. networking events, i.e., right, reading recipes, writing recipes, meeting people, or, am I advertising, paid or not paid? That still in itself work is figuring out, what does work really look like? Because you may have done, because you said you've been in business for 10 years, the amount of people you've known, the contacts that you've probably built up, you can do work faster than somebody who's just starting. So you get to have certain liberties. If I need something done, I know who to call.
Right.
Not in the past where I'm like, oh man, who can I reach out to get, XYZ done? Now I can probably, like, you know what, this is going to take me a lot shorter than it used to. I know how to make my menus. I know how long this is gonna take. Before it was so now I have just different business hurdles, or different hurdles to, go over. So just like anybody who's starting their journey, don't get frustrated. It takes time and experience in your craft and in business, because you always got to remember, you have your craft that you're great at, and that's why we probably went into business. Now add on the extra layer of business. And once those two start to marry and click, the gears start to grind, and it gets to be a little well-oiled machine.
You hit on a great point that I want to just do a little follow-up on. There are things that, to your point, when I first started in business, it used to take me 4 hours to do something. Now it's probably shortened to 1 hour because of the refining of a process, the knowing seasons, right? Because everything doesn't happen every single day. Like, I'm not on and popping every single day. In my head, in my household, I am. With my family, I'm on and popping every day. But it does not apply the same when it comes to your business. You have to know when you are generating more revenue in seasons, than others. So right now, we're at, I'll use an example, we're at the end, close to the end of the fiscal year. I know that in probably about 2 weeks, some folks, or either I'm going to contact them or they're going to contact me because they still have money in their budget to spend.
Mm.
Have to spend it. So guess what I do? Look at my production calendar, look at the team, see what projects we have, and if we can fit it in, guess what we do? We
You're gonna
fit it.
put it in.
And because there's two things that I've learned over the years. Number one is if you can deliver on a product or process or a project in to help someone with their budget, more than likely they'll call you again for the following year. It may be the very last minute, but they'll think you because you know how to deliver. The other thing you mentioned was about the seasons, right? So as you mentioned, if someone is looking for a chef, a caterer, or something within that area, book now. Because everyone wants to have some sort of party or something happening as the weather gets nicer and we're going
Mhm.
outdoors. And so again, our businesses generate, you have to understand your business cycle.
Correct.
When you are gaining more, generating more revenue, when you have somewhat of a downtime, and even within those downtimes, think about how you can be, how your downtimes not can be so down, if I would make sense, whether you use it for rethinking strategy or generating another revenue line during that specific time frame, and some of the things that I encourage my clients to do. So it's really great that you brought those up, because again, I'm only on and popping in my house every single day because I
But
have
right,
a
in business, you don't have to, not every function has to be done every single day. You may take, 1 or 2 days at the end of the month to close out your books. Then we just look this, over, and it's you working in and on your business.
Yep.
And you, like you said, like those downtimes, like what big projects probably can you tackle to help your business, move forward. So if you have a busy contracting season, you're just going through probably the motions during that point. Just go through the funnel and you're just working, 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 working.
Yep.
And
Until
take a break somewhere afterwards.
it does, it does happen. You have to create those pockets of rest, relaxation, and recharging, because you can't, what I've learned, if COVID, it's still around, but it's, we're managing whatever new normal is for us. What I've learned was the importance of taking time to check out when I need to, because
Yes.
if you're not well, you won't be able to really manage and run, or to utilize this thing that you have inside of you as a gift to the world. It doesn't work.
Yeah, it's right. For me, it's taking those periodic breaks, even if it's a day. I know
Mhm.
some people, they like take days off. Like for me, I just need sporadic an hour or two just to woosah, watch some stupid TV, and and recalibrate. Doesn't always have to be this, right? These moments you have to go to some tropical country and spend weeks, and just sometimes just need to recenter. Breathing, I did this breathing exercise with one of my friends who does breath work, and just having that hour just to cleanse your breath and just slow things down can make a tremendous difference.
Yep, that is so true. So let's talk about, what does business collaborations look like for you within your business?
Love them. It's definitely a way to cross promote and also to leverage other people's, creativity. But their key to it is not to make people feel used. There's
Yeah.
a trick, not even a trick. I would say it's an art. I would say it's more of an art of the collaboration. I think we all love music, right? When you listen to an album, when you hear, two artists get together, you want to make sure that piece is going to be greater than if one of you did it, separately. And that's when you figure out who you want to collaborate with. What is the end goal? And it's for the group to kind of come together, like what is the purpose of us doing something, together, either if it's on social media or, promoting. It's how can we leverage each other's strengths. We can't, sometimes most of us are in business by ourselves and we can't do it all ourselves. And like, until I'm here with Oprah, we all we can make a whole lot more noise together. That
in my head, I'm running like Oprah. That's what I'm doing. I'm running like Oprah.
like,
And sometimes it takes some of that mental push to kind of get you over, to help to build courage, those courageous steps. But I like what you said about being, having an art of business collaborations, because I've experienced, the one-sidedness.
yes.
It's unfortunate because, I have a tendency not to want to do business with that person again. Primarily, it becomes an integrity thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like if you're doing that, when bigger things, not to say that what I'm doing is small, but
You act
as
like this now. How are you
yeah,
going to act when another, something else may pop up?
so I just keep that in mind, because being in business is hard. What I mean by hard, it's who do you trust? Who
Mm-hmm.
do you want to build alignments with?
Yes.
Who mirrors some of the things that you're working with, and those are the things that I find that are just as challenging as what you mentioned, building on your craft. What are your thoughts about that?
Oh, you definitely touched upon it. When it really comes down to, as well as the brand,
Mm,
your personal brand and your, business brand, and most times they're going to, collide, together. So when you speak about who do you want to do a collaboration with, these people are an extension of you,
there you go.
you and your business. So if you take that into heart, who you do business with, and they're an extension of you. If these people don't look like, when I say look like you, if they don't mirror your values, then you shouldn't really do business with them.
Mhm.
But then these people also amplify what you believe in. I love doing business with women. I love doing business with women of color. That just amplifies my mission in life. If you look through my IG feed or anything else, it's not like overtly like, hey, I'm here, champion women. It's like, oh, okay, I'm here for the cause.
Mm,
Help push, the agenda, forward. Like even going into this next event that I'm doing now, I'm working with another woman of color. She has a spice line. So
mm,
that I brought in a sommelier as well. I was like, now we all can, benefit, on this, one event. And we all have we bring different things to the table, but to be able to manage all expectations, on, different projects and different, collaborations, sometimes it's hard. It's great when somebody has a vision and they know where you can play into it.
mm.
Because now you see everybody on their Instagram DM for collabs. In this day and age, what does that really mean?
I don't know.
DM for a collab. And if somebody DMs me, please have an agenda for me. It happens like, oh, I want to work with you or do a post with you. Okay, so what's your idea? Oh, you want me to come up with the idea? Okay, great. So if I approach you 9 out of 10 times, I'm going to have what I'm looking to do, at least a skeleton. And this is where I think that, you would, play a great role in it. And then we go back, right? Then you go back and forth on the idea of does it work or doesn't, work for whatever, reason. And I think we spoke about this before we got, started. It's the whole thing on Instagram, the whole imagery of, people, the whole sexiness, of business. And when you think about putting on an event or doing anything, when you work with somebody, it can either go faster sometimes or it can go slower, because now you got to deal with somebody else's, not deal, you have to incorporate somebody else's ideas, on it, as well. So when you work with somebody, you want that experience to be great. For me, I always hope when I work with somebody, like, yeah, I love working with you. I don't think I have too many people, talking shit about me.
Thank you.
Repeat collaboration, so I guess I'm doing something right.
Right.
So it's just, and you had mentioned right that not everybody is meant to work with you, and sometimes you're like, maybe we shouldn't work together. Our working styles might be, too different, or our businesses don't align. What do we do? What are we doing? Because sometimes you see things like, how does this make sense in any shape or form? You're just doing work to do work.
Mm.
And if you're already stretched thin, if you're working by yourself, anything you do needs to add on to your business. Just don't do things because it seems sexy.
Mm.
A lot of things that our business that are generating money may not be the sexy things. The things that don't get pushed out there. We spoke about MWB contracts, government contracts. That unfortunately, we're not talking about these things. Like, how do you actually get clients? What is that really? What can that look like? Sales that can get such a nasty negative connotation. But if you put it in a relationship building, you're always selling. You're always selling yourself to people. Do people want to work with you? Saying that I'm a chef, you can say it's a crowded field. Everybody's a chef. But I have to be able to tell you why I'm different than the next person.
There you go.
You may like the difference, you may not like the difference. But at the end of the day, if you hire me, you know why you're hiring me. What other people, can offer. So just knowing those little differentiation, factors. People can outcook me day and night. There's much better chefs. But I'll make the process a whole lot easier. I know my numbers. And just getting through people that and just hearing them, just being have more of a human touch.
Mm-hmm. And so I'm curious because you mentioned your event. What is that event that you have that you're working on?
Sure. It's called The Sunday, which is a wine tasting brunch, a 3-course meal. So I'm preparing the meal, and it'll be paired with wines by Charles Springfield, who's a sommelier. And then using the spices from the Spice Theory. So it's a spice line that focuses on Caribbean and Southern, spices. So I'm utilizing the spices from Dr. Corey Amos. And so this is how it all kind of, comes together. So got your chicken and waffles going on and everything else. So it's definitely a cozy, Sunday, brunch day.
But it's chicken and waffles, not chicken, not the regular chicken and waffles. It's the chicken.
Yes. So I should probably say chicken with a cheddar chive waffle.
Oh man.
Roasted, working with a roasted cobbler with a sweet corn ice cream. So I would say for me, it's comfort with a little elevation to it.
Oh, I love food too. What's your specialty?
Let's do cooking. Yes, comfort food is definitely, my specialty. More, I guess we'll say the farm to table. Farm to table with a little, heart and soul. There we go.
Oh,
wait, you're in Brooklyn, so if you're free, just say it.
I think I'm gonna have to look at calendar because the way me and my kid like to eat, like we brunch and she's 8. Like I'm like, we going to brunch? I'm like thinking to myself, who did I create? Like, why you brunching with me?
It was my son too. I'm like, where does he doesn't cook. He's the foodie. So he's more of the eating. I'm like, okay, you need to get in the kitchen. They skipped a generation.
Yeah, they want to hold up their pinky. In my case, want to hold up her pinky, and she want to brunch. So that's all on me. But it's great. No, we're joking about it, but it's something about exposing them to things that we didn't have to grow up and experience. Yes. It just brings me some like joy because I know that those experiences I learned later on in life, but she's getting them early. Right.
We won't tell people how old we are.
I know, right?
Yeah, I think a lot of this goes with when we're coming up till now. The world has changed. The climate has changed. So we're trying to live, like I said, our ancestors, dreams in some, sort of capacity through all the things that we're going through in this world. And even though entrepreneurship is hard, I
It's
wouldn't
hard.
have any other way.
Me either. I tell you this right now. I'm not going back. I will collaborate as much as I can with, organizations that I used to work for. But this provides it provides a different type of stuff. I have stuff that I've written down, and when I have the courage to actually put some action behind it, and you do the process, refine it, make mistakes, a lot of mistakes, and you see that you've taken something off of a piece of paper and
And
it's now
yeah,
this, is
yeah,
this. I'm like, woo, this mind. Mm-mm.
it's
Yeah.
like it's an artist in a
Yeah.
way. It's like one of my friends did this fantastic reel when she wrote down on a piece of paper, and you can see her writing the idea that she had and just taking those snippets of
Mm.
what it took. Then you see that final, product. And sometimes we don't give ourselves that grace to see that process, unfold, and what does it take and what does it look like. And if it doesn't sometimes happen fast enough, people get frustrated. It's the expectation versus reality,
Mm.
and setting certain goals for yourself and certain goals for your business. And sometimes you need those little goals and those little wins to keep you going, because there's no end to this. The weirdest thought I had today was I was taking a walk and I saw a little snail. And I was in one of those moods, girl. I looked at that snail like, I feel like you, snail. Can we go a little faster in this business world? Can we go faster in life? And we see where the snail was going. It was going down this long corridor. There's no end to it. I'm like, oh, man, does this not replicate how you feel in business? There's no end to it. But on the positive note, life is or business is about perspective. You got to change that perspective. If you don't, you're not going to make it. So the
Mm.
perspective is the cool people you meet along the way, the sights you get to see. It might be a little bit of hard times, but there is no end to this business. It just keeps, if you're lucky enough, it keeps going. You want it to keep going. And so it's okay to be those slow moments where you feel like feel like the little snail. It's totally fine. Just be patient.
So, in wrapping up, eh, just as you have described some of your flow within business, what are some encouraging words that you want to share for those who are interested in becoming a chef? Because it's never ending. When you go into the supermarket, it's like 50,000 loaves of bread,
Mhm.
50,000 options of cereal. So there's always going to be something. Um, what encouragement can you get to those who are looking to enter into this space, your space?
For those who want to enter the culinary field, God bless you. If you watched, if you're doing this because you watch something on the Food Network, please don't, even though it's on it. It's not reality. It's just a snippet
Mm.
of, reality. And there's a lot of determination that it takes to be in the culinary field. Is you have to love food. You have to love people, or be able to deal with it under different circumstances. Also, being a chef is very broad, and you can express your love of food in different ways. It does not mean that you have to open a restaurant. I would say try to see what works with your personality type. Because a lot of, like, for me, I'm like, I hate working in restaurants. I can do it. It's not my thing, so I would never open up a restaurant. It's too
Mm.
crazy Jason's too many batshit, and I have to say it like that,
Mm.
people, out there. But you can be a blogger, a food writer, food photography. There's different avenues, teaching, and they're all well respected. So I would definitely say find out what works for you. And in this, like I said, in this day and age, you can make almost a business out of anything. And it's a blessing and and a curse, at the same time. But you have to kind of choose a lane and kind of stick with it, because you want people to know what are you known for, and what do you want to be good, at the same time. So when somebody sees you, they know what they're getting. And at the beginning, most people looking ahead, so they want to do the everything. I want to be a chef. I want to have my hot sauce. I want to do this. I want to do that. But doing all that at the same time in the beginning, you're just going to burn yourself out. It's knowing what resources as well, what you have to do what you do, because keep mentioning Instagram or social media, we're always looking out. How come this person has XYZ? We don't know the full story, or you have to understand how to look at somebody's story. So that's where the business lens comes, into play. This person be this far along because they probably had XYZ people behind them. You don't see that. So you're frustrated here with with one spatula trying to do, everything, and it's not going to work out like that person. So talking to other people, building your community on the business side, personal, wise, that can support you and your journey. Stay away from the naysayers, because not everybody's going to see your journey or understand it. I can say I've been very, 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 very blessed with supportive people. So I think that's kind of, it in a nutshell. It is hard. I want to find another word to describe entrepreneurship besides hard. Because if is this hard, would you actually go and do it? If you just want to find out more about yourself and what you're made out of, work for yourself. And I also say working a 9 to 5, air quotes. There's nothing wrong with that. And I think we downplay people working in an office job.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with it, because I need people on the inside.
There you go.
So
there you go.
Just find out what works for you.
Alrighty. So I'm gonna do like a little recap. One of the things I like to as we're talking, I'm taking notes and trying to make sure that I'm taking notes, because I'm learning too, right? There's one thing, and the beauty about this exchange is that I always learn something new. So there's some key points that you highlighted. Follow-up is important. Asking yourself, did I put in the work for my success, and decide what success looks like for you. The other thing that, understand your business revenue season, create times to recalibrate, what that looks like for you. So, Chef Keesha said, you know what, I need a day, I need a couple of hours, right? And it doesn't always mean that, you are going across the world just to recalibrate. So you have to define what it looks like specifically for you. The other thing that I really loved is, there's an art to business collaborations without feeling or using others. I'm going to repeat that because, I'm a person that believes that, that the world is a cycle. It goes around, it revolves. And so what you do and the energies that you put out, it comes back to you in some way or form. So going up, coming down, you never know where you're going to meet people. So just be mindful of that. The other thing is, really thinking about your perspective on business. Find out what works for you. Choose a lane, stick with it, and, continue to do what you're known for. And finally, stay away from the naysayers and AKA the dream killers. You don't, want to be in a position where you have this dream or this vision that you're believing in, and someone says to you, oh, you can't do that. You can't do this. And that's part of it, because they're placing their fears upon you. And we all have been gifted with, I believe, a vision, gifts. And so those gifts are for us to be able to share with the world. So, Chef Keesha, I appreciate you.
Thank you. Appreciate you too. Hope to see you at this brunch.
And so, but I'm not gonna let you go just yet because I like to
No.
wrap up with these one word rapid questions.
Woo! Okay, just go.
Oh, I like that. Let's go. See, I like it. What's your favorite borough?
Jeez. Sorry, the Bronx. I guess the question's going to end now then. Sorry.
No, 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 because it's always this thing.
I got love for Brooklyn though. Look,
Right. Thank you. I
hold
love
on. I
it. I love
mean, I can't say that publicly. You might have to edit that. Y'all got some swag to y'all. That I mean, but you always got to represent the borough you're
where you
from.
from. That's
You
right.
gotta
The borough
represent.
you're from. So, what do you do in your downtime?
Walk.
Favorite food?
Oh, damn. The right. I'll go plantain. You gotta go one. Gotta go one word.
Shoes or sneakers?
Sneakers. And I'm not a sneakerhead, so
In 3 years, and this is never one word, what will change within the community that you are serving?
ooh. And
3 years
what
that
would
you are serving. You are serving.
ownership?
Mm,
That can go so many different ways, but ownership.
I like that. All right. Well,
There we go.
there we
I
go.
love those questions.
I love it. And so thank you for joining. Please, 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 for those who are watching, thegourmetdiva.com. Again, if you're looking to book services, don't wait till the last minute. I'm saying that. Do not wait till the last minute. And please, there are other events that are going to be coming up. Please be sure to check out the website, sign up for cooking classes and other services. And also just check out press, because what Chef Keesha was being very modest about, the highlights are real, right? Has been in business since 2010, but has also done a number of speaking engagements. So please do not think that, we're just talking to a regular old chef. We are talking to someone who has experience in business, but also been out in these streets in a good way. So,
Yes, I've earned my stripes. I definitely have. I mean, just being able to just talk, just letting everybody know you can come from humble beginnings
mm,
and still go, far.
you go far and you can still keep your lights on.
Yeah,
That's
that's key. And my cell phone.
and a cell phone, because we need to communicate. So I really appreciate you. Thank you so
Thank
much for taking
you.
time to out of your schedule to come interview with us, and we'll see you again soon. And be sure, like, share, follow on social media. Um, we right here. We right here. So thank you so much. So there you have it, good people. Just want to highlight this last point. Stay away from the naysayers and dream killers. We work really hard to put out information, to build our businesses, to build our dreams. And we don't want people around us that, if you don't believe in us, keep it moving. So it's really great to have the chef come and share. Please be sure to visit, like, share, follow on social media, the gourmetdiva.com, and also on Instagram as well. But you know what? During our conversation, we shared, some resources. So as if you've been watching, we do have a few. So check it out. There's a number of chamber of commerces within 5 boroughs, upstate New York, all over. We have so many chambers of commerce. And if you are looking to connect, here is an opportunity. You can check them out. You can do a Google search. They're all there. The other thing is New York City does have small business resources. They have one-on-one services. You can sign up to get free resources, namely if you need website or if you need business coaching, you can all gain access to that information for free. The one thing that I also want to share is a lot of times if you're looking for Score Mentor, I'm attached to Score. Please do not hesitate to reach out to me. You can find me on Score if you need those services, and those services through SCORE are for free. So I want to thank you so much for joining the show. I look forward to having you connect with us again and again. So talk to you soon. This week, I'm thinking about the importance of focus. Focusing on yourself, focusing on your business if you have one, just focusing on purpose. One of the things that I'm learning is that having focus is a requirement. Being very strategic, aligning all of your things that you do with the goals that you have on your life. Focus isn't optional. It's actually imperative to your business growth. So stay the course and keep pressing. Focus, focus, focus. It will happen.